So I will do a very brief introduction, and then after that, we will get started. So hello, everyone. I know I was just speaking at the first webinar just right before this on constructing a school list. It is 9:21 here on the East Coast. I know it is a school night, so we're going to begin this exciting conclusion to what was a very thrilling and informative day of school presentations. I'm going to do a very quick introduction of myself. You probably just remember me. I just spoke. My name is Nicholas Edwards. I am the Associate Director of Middle and Upper School Admissions Consultant here at InAmerica Education. And today I have the privilege of introducing the amazing team from Rye Country Day, commonly referred to as as RCDS. Rye Country Day School is a co-educational private day school serving grades pre-K through grade 12. This school is located in the beautiful Rye, New York. Everyone should definitely visit. And it's a space where students learn to grow, find their voices, and pursue their passions. And so without further ado, I'm joined here with two of our amazing speakers from RCDS, Ms. Courtney Doucet. Did I do that right?
Yes, Doucet, you got it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, Ms. Courtney Doucet and Mr. Ryan Song, an all-star admissions team. Mr. Song is the Assistant Director of Admissions for middle school, and amongst the many other hats I believe he wears there. And then Ms. Courtney Doucet is the Director of Admissions and Enrollment Management. So I'm going to turn this over to the two of them to introduce themselves and share the joy and love that makes Rye Country Day School.
Thank you, Nicholas, for that wonderful introduction. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My colleague Ryan and I are here to just give you a little overview of Rye Country Day. As Nicholas said, my name is Courtney Doucet. I'm the Director of Admissions and Enrollment Management at Rye Country Day. This is my 13th year at the school. I oversee the entire admissions and enrollment office, but I do focus primarily on upper school admissions, but we work very closely as a team. We all work together, oversee each division. So I would like to also have my colleague Ryan introduce himself before we get started.
Hi, everyone. Like it was said, my name is Ryan Song. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions. I also do wear a few hats. So I do teach science at the school, sometimes honors chemistry, sometimes physical science in the 8th grade. And this year, I'm also the head cross-country coach at the school. And we just kicked off an amazing start to the season. All right, back to you, Courtney.
Thanks, Ryan. Okay, tonight we are going to start with a quick, brief video to give you an introduction to the school. And then we'll get into some slides with some general background information about Rye Country Day. And then we will open it up for a Q&A session with whatever time we have remaining. But please feel free to utilize the chat if you have questions along the way. That always helps me so I don't forget to ask my question. But do know that we will have questions at the end. And again, thank you all for joining us. We really are excited about this and love our partnership with InAmerica.
Welcome to RCDS.
Wow! This is where your next chapter begins.
This is my community.
It's where I discover and try new things.
It's where I'm shaping my future.
It's where we explore different ideas and perspectives.
It's where I feel proud of myself.
It's where I challenge and surprise myself.
The people here at the school care about my academic progress and my well-being. Everyone is so supportive. I love my teachers.
It's where I think about how to make a change.
It's where I become part of the solution. It's where I get to be me.
This is our community.
This is Rye Country Day.
Okay. Hopefully that whet your appetite to hear a little bit more about Rye Country Day. As I mentioned, I'm just going to share some slides tonight, general information about the school, and then we will certainly take questions. Oh, I'm already at the question portion. That's not where I want to be. Hold on one second. Let me start in the beginning. Okay, here we are. So hopefully you enjoyed that video. We every year sort of look at it, rebrand it, find current students, get them invested in our video because they are the glue that holds our school together. So this is the team. As I mentioned, we work very closely. We each have our own specific role, whether it's looking after lower, middle, or upper school division, but we work as a team to think about the entire school since we are pre-kindergarten through grade 12. And we have lots of different members that also support us, from doing interviews, assessing our youngest applicants, greeting families when they walk in our office. And then we also have a wonderful colleague who helps us on the back end with any questions you might have when you're applying with the database, any tech related issues. But again, you can reach out to anyone on this team if you have any questions. And we also have an email, admissions@ryecountryday.org. So I always start any sort of session talking about our school, sharing our mission, because it's so important and it's something that we talk about constantly and actually revisit and think about if this is what we're fulfilling as our goals and if we ever need to change our mission based on what's going on in the world. So I'll read to you. Rye Country Day School is a coeducational college preparatory school dedicated to providing students from pre-kindergarten through grade 12 with an excellent education using both traditional and innovative approaches. In a nurturing and supportive environment, we offer a challenging program that stimulates individuals to achieve their maximum potential through academic, athletic, creative, and social endeavors. We are actively committed to diversity. We expect and promote moral responsibility and strive to develop strength of character within a respectful school community. Our goal is to foster a lifelong passion for learning, understanding, service in an ever-changing world. So I know that's a lot, really important things that we talk about. And I'll just say, before I go forward, you can revisit our mission and most of what we are telling you about tonight on our website. So if you want to reread things or revisit, please do not hesitate to go to ryecountryday.org and see all of these resources. So our next slide here is about our portrait of a graduate. These are things that we firmly believe students who graduate from Rye Country Day need to possess strong skills in these different areas, or we really talk about them as different pillars that we're developing throughout their career and time at Rye Country Day. So character, knowledge, skills, and citizenship. All right, some basic general information, depending on if you've seen our school or never even heard of us. This is just for everyone. So as Nicholas told you at the top of the program, we are coeducational college preparatory school, pre-kindergarten through 12th grade, and our pre-K starts for students who are age 4. We were founded in 1869, and our school motto is not for self, but for service. So we have a huge service learning component. If you know anything about community service, we take it a step further and we talk about what we call public purpose and really talk about that motto of the school. We are in Rye, New York, which is in Westchester County. It's 25 miles north of New York City. And we have a 26-acre campus, but you'll see there on our slide, we have +9 because we actually just acquired an additional 9 acres we're very excited about. Mr. Song is giving a good celebration because right now his cross-country team is running lots of trails on that property, but we have really exciting plans to develop the property for all kinds of athletic facilities that we can share with our community, some of the surrounding towns, and then repurpose our current campus for some academic and other really exciting things. Our current enrollment, we have 957 students with a 7-to-1 student to teacher ratio. 16% of our student body receives need-based financial aid. This year, we have a $7 million budget. And financial aid is strictly need. We don't have any merit scholarships. In terms of transportation, students arrive to us on all kinds of different methods. I would say the most popular is by car or internal carpools that families arrange with one another. But we are located conveniently right on the Metro North train line. It's just a few-minute walk up a hill to our campus. But we do offer a bus, and actually New York State will bus within 15 miles of our campus if they bus to any public school districts. So we have a fair number of buses that do arrive to our campus and transport students every day. Our school hours roughly range from about 8:15 to about 3:30 every day. We do stagger each of the divisions when they arrive on our campus. It sort of helps with traffic and drop off and all of that. But students do stay much longer than 3 or 3:30 for all kinds of after school activities. And I will say students tend to come earlier too. We have breakfast every day on campus, which is a nice perk of having a day school, but really having that feel where students and faculty alike stay for a long time, a long day. 45% of our students self-identify as students of color. So you might have noted in our mission, there's a key line that talks about our active commitment to diversity. And we talk not just about race and ethnicity, but some of the other major identifiers when we're talking about diversity. It makes our community really special and unique, and celebrating everyone's differences from students to employees alike. Some other information here. I know this slide has a lot of info and graphics, thanks to our wonderful marketing communication team who helped spiffy this up. On the right-hand side, I'll just draw your attention. This is where what we call entry points, where what we're looking for from an admissions office, how many students we take in during the application process. So in pre-kindergarten, we take in anywhere from 18 to 24. So it's a larger pool. That's where we start. Then in kindergarten, we add another section of students. So we take another 12 to 18, depending on the year. And then grade 4 is really our next entry point. We take in yet another 18 because we create another section. I will say grades 1, 2, and 3 are strictly what we call attrition based. So a student would have to leave and then we would fill those spaces. Grade 5 is a smaller entry point, but traditionally we'll take in anywhere from 4 to 6 students. Grade 6, we take in about 20 students. It is a larger entry point for us. Grade 7, another 4 to 6. Grade 8, 2 to 4. Grade 9, as you can imagine, is our largest entry point in the school. We'll take in anywhere from 30 to 35 new students. And then grade 10, we add another 4 to 6. And grades 11 and 12 are really individual case-by-case basis. Sometimes we don't take any, sometimes we take 1 or 2. And the paw prints there, which our mascot is a wildcat, so we do have a lot of paw prints around next to our major entry points, that pre-kindergarten, kindergarten, grade 4, grade 6, and grade 9 years. So I'm going back to the left of this slide and talk a little bit about some other details depending on what grades you're interested in or what you're looking at. In the lower school, which is grades pre-kindergarten through 4th grade, we do have a strict birthday cutoff of September 1st. And it works this way. So our applicants who are interested in pre-kindergarten, those students must be 4 by September, of which September 1st of the year to which they would start pre-kindergarten. Applicants must be 5 by September 1st if they're interested in starting kindergarten at Rye Country Day, and so on and so forth. And then for 5th grade and up, we do not have a birthday cutoff, but that September 1st birthday gives you an idea of our students who are growing up and advancing year to year, where their birthdays probably do fall based on that strict birthday cutoff. I already talked about grades 1 through 3 as a fill-in years for us. In terms of the application process, Pre-K through second grade will come to our campus and have an individual assessment we have a lower school assessment screener who will work with our littlest or youngest applicants and assess them individually for academic readiness and social dynamics. And then for grades 3 and 4, we do require the IC primary, which we do administer on our campus, and a lot of the other schools in our area does as well. And there is an online option. And then for grades 5 through 12, we do require either the ISEE or the SSAT. We don't have a preference of either test, but we do require one of them. Okay, so this slide is a nice visual graphic to tell you what our timeline looks like, because a lot of independent schools do things really far in advance. I know it feels like, at least for me, we just started the 23-24 school year, but in the admissions office, we're looking ahead for the 24-25 school year. So we do everything essentially a year in advance. And I will say our application portal is open. It opened August 1st. So don't wait. If you're interested in applying, you can go right on our website, ryecountryday.org, and fill out our online application. So it's due for us no later than December 15th. And if you're interested in applying for financial aid, which I talked about already, we have a separate application. We use an independent party called Clarity, and that application is also due December 15th. Once you file an application with us, which really gives us an opportunity to get to know your family and your student much better, and vice versa, then you will receive what we call an online checklist, and it will lay out very clearly all of the things that we require as part of the admissions office, or admissions process rather, from the admissions office. And all of those supporting materials, and it does depend on the grade, but think about things like grades from your transcript or teacher recommendations or those standardized tests that I just referenced. Everything is due for us by January 10th. That is our final deadline. So that once we have a full and complete file by January 10th, then we do issue decisions the first Friday in February. And this year it's February 2nd, 2024. And then we give families, of course, time to make a very important decision. And they have until March 8th, it's about 5 weeks there, to decide if they will accept our decision of acceptance or not. Okay, so to get to know us better, let's come to events like these. And we also have what we call weekly Wildcat Wednesdays. They're really happening weekly, every other week. Just log into our website. There's a tab about upcoming events, and we actually do them thematically. So you would see a slideshow much like this, but then we would turn it over to colleagues in different areas of the school that you would get a better idea. And there is a QR code there that you can scan on your own. But also, if you're in the area or you're planning to be in the area, we do have our big open house coming up the last Sunday in October, October 29th. That is an opportunity to see our campus, meet employees, faculty, current parents, current students, hear from lots of us, and really get a feel for the school, because there's nothing like coming on our campus and really experiencing it for yourself. And you can register on our website for open house as well. I just mentioned Wildcat Wednesdays. These are some of the themes that we do and have done. Last night we had our session on student wellness, student support services. So you'll see lots of different themes here that hopefully resonate with you all, resonate with your student, areas of the school that are signature programs that we're particularly proud of, or we feel that families might want to know a little bit more about. And of course, that brings us to this partnership that we have here today. We've been working with InAmerica since 2019 and have had a lot of success in that partnership, and lots of wonderful students and families come to us through the application process and then officially enroll in the school. So we're really excited that you're all here and love our support from all of the members of the staff members that are on this call. We really appreciate them and all the hard work that they do for you all and your families. And then, of course, a couple other QR codes that can bring you to some of our pages. I believe that Nicholas will share these slides so that you have them. You can revisit them. You can click on various QR codes, just information about where do you find our application, FAQs, or things about the school. And again, most of which you can just go directly to our website, ryecountryday.org, and click around and you'll find a wealth of information. So last year, our school theme was teamwork. So you'll see there, we can't wait to team up with you on your admissions journey, little play on words there. This year, our school theme is kindness. We think, you can never be too kind and too nice and too supportive of one another. That's really what makes up our community. So this is a wonderful picture we took last year. You could just feel the joy coming out of all of these students from various ages. So I did a lot of talking. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm really hoping that there are wonderful questions in the chat. As I mentioned, I have my colleague Ryan here. I know he's been hard at work answering questions for all of you in the chat. So please feel free to throw more questions in our chat, or if you're comfortable unmuting yourself and asking questions live, we are here for you this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Courtney and Ryan. Ryan, I've been seeing you type away over there in the chat boxes, getting all these answers ready. So Ryan has the magic fingers and Courtney is ready to do all the talking here. So I have to say, I have a few questions of my own, just knowing what a lot of our families are going to be interested in. Let's start by talking a little bit about the admissions process. Everyone always wants to know, is there a part of the process that weighs more than the other? A lot of families ask, transcripts, do the grades matter more than the recommendations? Do the recommendations matter than my child taking the standardized testing? Can you confirm, deny, or just talk a little bit more as to that aspect?
Go ahead, Mr. Song. I've been doing a lot of talking. Time for you.
All right. Fantastic. So we take a whole approach. We are looking for wonderful people, and we know that we learn about who you are through all of those aspects. Where you shine and where your beauty shows is different for everyone. And so, we do not have a favorite, although I will say this, I've mentioned this in the chat, the academic rigor is very high in a wonderful way. Our kids want each other to succeed. So that rigor there is them pushing each other, and the conversations are very lively. That said, we are looking for really strong students to add to that mix. So there is a bar, and we are looking for kids to not just meet, but to exceed it so that they can enjoy all the wonderful things that we offer at this school. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, perfect. And actually, I want to maybe narrow that down a little bit more. You mentioned strong students, of course. And another question we always get here in America from our families are, what qualities, what characteristics are these admission teams looking for in terms of an applicant, whether that's lower school, middle school, upper school? Are there any defining characteristics that really make for an ideal candidate?
Oh, I love that. Can I give a quick one, then I'll hand it to you, Courtney? Okay, so Courtney kind of, she gave you a few hints, right? So teamwork and ability to work with others is, we think it's a skill that everyone needs, and it's foundational to a community. Otherwise, we're just a bunch of individuals in a room. Kindness is something that I can tell you right now is a value and characteristic of all the adults in the community. Because we think it's important on who the kids are surrounded by and who's modeling things for them. And it's something we are looking for in the kids, because this is, the children are your most valuable things in life. and knowing that they're surrounded by other kind, teamwork-oriented students is really high up there. So there are no secrets. We make them the themes. And so if you look at our themes, those are the things that rise to the top for us.
Excellent.
And I agree 100%. I will say, as you embark on the application process, we try really hard to tell you lots of information about Rye Country Day. And actually, we have, when you think about applying to schools, whether it be independent school or down the road in college, a lot of times families think about, okay, there's going to be an essay, there's going to be a lot of writing, and there's a lot of work involved, which is true. But we put those questions on what we have is a student questionnaire for grades 5 and above, and a parent guardian questionnaire for everyone to fill out. And they are short questions and answers, but within that, you'll see there are questions and there are prompts that have you read things about our mission, things that are important to the school, and talk about how they resonate with your student, your family, and yourself, so that we hope that you understand more about what Rye Country Day is about, and making sure that it is the right fit, because ultimately that is our job, to make sure that the student, the family are a right fit for Rye Country Day, and vice versa, because we want to make sure it's an authentic match.
Excellent. And I'm happy you said best fit, because that is just what I spent the past 50 minutes speaking about and preaching about. So thank you for just, a perfect full cycle. So thank you so much, Courtney and Ryan. So I know that there was just a question in here about how are the sports clubs and athletics here, and Courtney gave a wonderful response. I was wondering if we can maybe elaborate on that a little bit more. Maybe what are some of your strongest sports this year in terms of athletics? Ryan may be a little bit biased because he's doing cross country, but just curious, what are maybe some of those defining athletics that your school really offers?
It is a loaded question. I will say our cross country team is excellent, very well attended. So it depends on the season. We operate fall, winter, spring. We have lots of different sports that students can participate in. Either, as I wrote in the chat, it can be on an interscholastic level. We have varsity and junior varsity levels for most sports, so that students who might be newer to a sport, they can try something. Or if a student is more seasoned or practiced in a sport, something that they are really passionate about, perhaps want to go on to the next level and play in college, those are our varsity athletes. And then we have students, again, who want to maybe try something, do something on a physical education level. Maybe it's only a couple times a week, or intramural or club. But we offer a lot of what we would think are traditional sports in America, from soccer to field hockey or football in the fall. But then we also have other sports, from sailing in the spring, fencing in the winter, track. We also have a boys and girls ice hockey team. And some of our sports are co-ed, but some of our sports are single sex. So it really does depend. And I know that naming a few sports, I definitely risked forgetting some, and I forgot a lot because we have several different offerings. But a lot of our teams are really successful and able to make it to postseason play, and really enjoy the value of teamwork and athletics and fitness and all of those wonderful things that bring athletics to the table. Mr. Song, I don't know if you want to jump in there at all. I'm sure I forgot a lot. I could continue on too.
No, I risk being really biased, but you're right. Cross country is amazing. We have about 50 kids, boys and girls. It's a fun time. I would say another popular one that, I love watching the kids do is fencing. Fencing is popular middle school all the way up. And a growing option, not a sport, but an option for PE, and something that is also growing is our dance program. So we have a dance company that you try out for in the high school, but you can take dance as a class or in place of a sport in middle or high school. Wonderful program. All right, but also biased on that. I just love it. All right.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so I know that the chat is still going, and while more questions are in the process of being asked, I guess I will just keep on going with some of my questions over here. So I guess to take the spotlight, I know that in terms of Rye Country Day, it's oftentimes referred to as a STEAM school. What is your general response to that? Do you just focus on the sciences? Are you more of taking that liberal arts approach? I'd love to hear what the two of you have to say in terms of that response.
Do you want to go or do you want me? Oh, me? Okay, fantastic. Okay, so there is a risk of me being biased as a science teacher, but I will tell you I'm also a parent at the school. And here comes the other bias. My oldest is on the dance team. He discovered dance here at the school. He is a musician, a composer, and his passion for the arts is truly fed at the school. That said, my other children have very different interests. This is a place where no matter what, the depth to which you can explore your passion is fairly deep. I would say most departments, if not all, and I'd have to double check, but I do believe it's true, offer courses beyond the AP in general, whether it's math or history or science, or if it's music theory, or, it keeps on going. The beauty of our course offerings is a wonderful way of visualizing the nerdiness of our teachers and what they love, and also our students. And there's this particular synergy that happens when they meet and we offer the class. Our electives can be driven by our students and their passions, and our clubs are as well. So this is a place where you can shape who the community is because you're part of it. And we give that voice to our kids. So no, we are not a STEAM school, although we do it really well. And we are not an artsy fartsy school, although we do it really well. And I will say the same thing about the sports. It's growing and it's strong. And we have some of the best facilities in the area, but we're not an athletic school. We do all of it.
I love those personal anecdotes and real stories about the school. It is true. So we, whether it's STEAM or any other area, as Ryan was saying, we don't want to be known as just strong in one area. It is really important that we have a well-rounded approach and that our students feel comfortable to try new things, understand, okay, you think you love this, but maybe try something else and try it, and then maybe you don't like it, but confirm you don't like it before you just shut it down and don't try something. But it's really important across the entire school, from our youngest learners to our oldest learners, to think cross-disciplinary, doing things. We have a wonderful maker space, for example, but the challenge is every course to bring their course into the maker space and create something. So you would think of a maker space with laser cutters and 3D printers and all kinds of things. You think art, or you think engineering, or you think something of that nature, but the classics department is in there building Roman Colosseums, right? So there's ways to really understand what you're learning in the classroom and be creative in that sense. So STEAM is such a wonderful initiative and movement, and we lean into that power of science, technology, engineering. Art is very important for us in that acronym or abbreviation, and then mathematics. So just one example of how we bring everything together.
Excellent. And I see that another question was answered by Ryan. So there goes another one. So I am going to end off with just one more question. And then after that answer from our wonderful guest, if any more questions come through, we'll answer them, but we'll probably have a hard stop at 10 o'clock just because this is a school night over here on the East Coast. So as for my last question, is just a little bit more into a focus and on community service. Based off your motto, based off your mission, how is service learning and community serving almost interwoven into your curriculum or even seen in a day-to-day?
Can I start and I'll hand it to you, Miss? Okay, fantastic. So this is one of the things I really love about the school. We do not have service hours. We have kids who are passionate about bringing joy to other people, and they do it because they love it. So we do foster it. So there is a program that really, I would say, at the heart has there's exposure in the lower school, but as far as programming, that there is something really beautiful that begins in the middle. All the kids participate in 5th grade with a nonprofit on a project. In 6th grade, they get to choose between a few nonprofits and really dive into some interests. But in 7th and 8th grade, when we philosophically allow them to choose many things like sports and arts and really explore, they also get to take the lead. And one of those is our service learning. At the beginning of the year, the kids pitch what projects they want to do with which nonprofits. They are in charge. So they are contacting the nonprofits. They are figuring out what the event is going to be. We do have some adults that kind of help them, but it's really the kids. And the beginning of the middle school year is an assembly where the 7th and 8th graders are trying to recruit everyone to join their project. So it is this lovely energy, again, not driven because they have to, but because they love the feeling of doing it and knowing the impact. So there is a lot of wonderfully designed things based off of the humanity of the program and how we value community and how we impact it. And it's, for me, it's the best thing I've seen, and it resonates all the way through. When I mentioned that the curriculum is really rigorous, but our kids want to help each other succeed, it's in that same vein. It's helping ourselves, but also extending way out there. All right, Missy said, hand it off.
I love that. I can't really follow too much. I just want to package it up in a nice little bow to say, it is very authentic because our motto is not for self, but for service. So thinking about, I always tell my students outside of the Rye Country Day bubble, outside of Rye, New York, right? Thinking about the surrounding communities, the broader communities, international, right? Find something you're passionate about and make it more of a lifelong commitment, right? Just volunteering sort of here and there is not, it's good in the short term, but really thinking about that long-term effect. And that's why we did get away from requiring a certain number of hours and realizing the quality is takes much more precedent for us. And Nicholas, I did have a great question in the chat that was messaged to me, if that's okay. And it's about mentorship in our school, particularly as it applies to students of looking at different cultures, which is such an important question, because DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, is one of our initiatives, and thinking about inclusivity and belongingness. All of our students should feel safe, should feel welcome, should feel like they belong and that they find their people, and can celebrate not only who they are in partnership with others, but also celebrate their differences and learn from one another. So we have all kinds of mentorship programs. Oftentimes they are aligned with age in terms of older students coming down from our upper school to help middle or even younger students, but they're often aligned academically or based on interests. So we have a Women in Science wonderful mentorship program. Obviously, it's not necessarily cultural, but there's the gender component. There's thinking about, okay, we really want to encourage women or girls to think about science or math as a passion for them. We have Uplift, which is a wonderful program about students who self-identify as students of color working together and really forming that partnership. And back to what we were just talking about in terms of public purpose and service learning, on Saturdays at Rye Country Day, we have what we call our SET program. It's a student enrichment program. There is some language-based translation services where we're working from students from some of the surrounding towns. So it's not a mentorship program per se within our school, but it's working with our community. And there are countless other examples, and I'm sure Ryan will grab some and mention some, but those are just a few.
I also just threw in the chat our global studies program, a link to it, because it is really amazing. So I know I said I taught chemistry. I was an environmental science major. And one of the cool things that just happened this last summer is our environmental science class went to Iceland. The kids are presenting tomorrow at lunchtime in the pack. All these kids are expected to just go hear what the experience is like. We do have kids that have a very global sense. They love hearing about everyone's travels and understanding cultures. And it's, again, one of those things we don't require. We just say, hey, we're having lunch and someone's sharing their experience and everyone just shows up. It's a really wonderful, organic time. But if you're interested in that, there is a link below.
Perfect. And actually, I know I promised a hard stop at 10 o'clock. It's 10:02. Last question, and then I promise I'm done. So one question just came in terms of student feedback from RCDS alumni, from students, from parents. What do they love most about the school? Was wondering if from Ryan's perspective, from Courtney's perspective, if you have any stories, any anecdotes that you can leave us all with today.
This is a great, wonderful question and such a hard question because I think everyone has a different, they definitely have a different experience going through Rye Country Day. But I will say, based on our strong alum network and talking to students, I think they value their experience when they're at Rye Country Day, but they really understand the importance of the impressions that they've made on students, teachers, each other, the people, the strength of our community once they graduate. And we have all kinds of students that come back for various events. We have our big Wildcat weekend in the fall. We have lots of alums that come. And actually our office, recognize the strength of those important relationships and in community. And in January, we do an event for admissions primarily, but we have a lot of current employees, faculty, even students that join us, but it's an alumni event. We call it Reflections on RCDS. And we have young alums who are maybe 1, 2, 3 years out of Rye Country Day who come back to speak about their experiences at Rye Country Day. And it's often so heartwarming, warming, talking about that one teacher that made such an impactful part of their life. And oftentimes those faculty, right, don't even know what an impact they made on those students, but really did change an area of study or a passion for them, or just made them feel really confident and good about themselves.
I'll just quickly say, based off of the stories I've heard, everyone just loves the time with each other. So it's a lot of just memories generated through time spent at school. It's not any one particular thing because they're all wonderfully bright and they're going to create these wonderfully bright futures, but they truly enjoy each other's company. And, one parent who recently walked through the school with me said, look, the kids don't even have their phones out. They're just talking to each other. And, and we're in a world where that is an exceptional thing, but it carries through. They value their time with each other, and it's a lovely thing.
Perfect. Well, I think that was an ideal of an ending and conclusion as we could have it. So thank you so much, Courtney and Ryan. I have to say, on my side, I am very excited for this construction project. I'm excited to see whenever it is done. Is there a date that you have planned at this point or not yet?
No date, but I do want to keep the trail that I have right now. It's amazing. And I do have 2 InAmerica kids on my team. So thank you.
There we go. And in terms of dates, actually, everyone who is on this webinar today, remember that date, December 15th. That is when that preliminary application is due. So a nice plug-in, at least for Rye Country Day. But as I said, thank you so much to our two speakers. We appreciate Rye Country Day School working with us and our partnership, especially on a school night and joining us for our K-12 school fair. So thank you so much, Courtney and Ryan. I appreciate this so much. Looking forward to the next time I'm able to see the two of you.
Likewise,
Thank
Nicholas.
you.
Thank you so much for having us. Take
All
care,
right,
Have a good
everyone.
night.
All right. And so I know that Rye Country Day is leaving, but in terms of next week, I am just going to quickly share our school fair. So if everyone just gives me a few seconds, I will share my screen just so you can have a look at what is to come. Okay, so if everyone can see my school fair, of course, today, if everyone can see my screen, we, of course, just finished today with Rye Country Day. And as we move to next Tuesday, September 26th, it is going to be an all-star lineup of schools similar to today. At 9 o'clock to 9:45 Eastern Standard Time, we'll start with Middlesex. Then we'll move on to Oakwood School in California. Then we'll finish off the morning, at least on the East Coast, with Northfield Mount Herman School in Massachusetts. And then in the nighttime, we will begin at 7:30 with Asheville School in North Carolina. We will move over to Michigan at 8:25 for Cranbrook Schools, and then end off that day with Trinity School at 9:20. And then in terms of Wednesday, we'll move forward with a few more schools. I'll breeze through this very quickly for you. Dana Hall, an all-girls school in Massachusetts. We'll move on to Avon Old Farms, which is an all-boys school in Connecticut. And then we move over to New York with Avenues, finishing off the morning session on the East Coast time. At 7:30, beginning the evening, we'll have Trinity Pauling, a school in upstate New York. Then at 8:25, we'll move on to Princeton Day School in New Jersey. And then at 9:20, I believe Cindy will be hopping back on here, and she'll be speaking a little bit into the different additional supports and services post-application that we offer here at InAmerica Education. And then, of course, September 28th, the last day of the K-12 fair, in what is already an exciting event. We'll finish off with these 6 schools, which begins with the Stony Brook School in New York, Horace Mann as well, which is in New York, Indian Springs School in Alabama, and then in the evening, we'll move on to the Thatcher School, Groton, and Fountain Valley. So there are still 3 more amazing days to go in the school fair. This is everything for today. I hope everyone has been enjoying such a wonderful, informative session. Once again, we have had such amazing partnership with these schools, and the work that they've been doing with us has truly been meaningful. So I'm signing off for today. I have a busy day tomorrow, but I hope to see each and every one of you next week on Tuesday when we kick off the 3rd day of this school fair. So goodbye for now, and I will be seeing you all next week.